I was a fallen prince, a beta born into immense wealth who had lost everything, only to be kept like a canary in a gilded cage by a powerful boss who had risen from the slums. My temperament was undeniably spoiled. I was picky, demanding, and often accused of being pretentious and ungrateful. People whispered that I didn't know how good I had it. After all, Jordan couldn't seem to warm my cold heart, and eventually, the rumor was that he would tire of me and let me go. But on the night I finally decided to leave him, the power in my rented apartment suddenly cut out. In the suffocating darkness, I was pinned against a table by a towering shadow. His voice, low and dangerous, vibrated against my ear. "With my seed inside you, just where exactly do you think you are going?" To understand how we reached this breaking point, you have to understand where I came from. I am a beta, yes, but I was the only son of a dynasty. My parents cherished me, raising me with every luxury imaginable. I grew up arrogant, delicate, and entirely unsuited for the harsh realities of the world. Then came the crash. My family went bankrupt, my parents died in a tragic accident, and our assets were seized. At 18, I was nearly sold into the underground black market. In my desperate attempt to escape, luck abandoned me, and I was dragged into the lower city, the lawless slums. That was where I was saved, or perhaps captured, by Jordan. He was nothing back then, just a thug with a reputation for violence. We stayed in the lower city for a while before he made his fortune and brought me back to the upper city. Now, Jordan is a renowned tycoon, a prime alpha feared by many. Yet, despite the expensive suits and the power, he couldn't scrub away the rough habits of his past. That evening, he came home from a business dinner reeking of alcohol. He didn't care that the house was full of staff. He simply marched over and scooped me up into the air. He was massive, built like a tank, and handled me with the grace of a bandit claiming his loot. My face went pale, and I slapped his shoulder hard. "Jordan, what is wrong with you? Put me down. Put me down this instant," I shouted, my voice trembling with indignation. The maids and bodyguards, sensing the volatility in the air, quietly retreated from the living room. I felt a flush of humiliation rise up my neck. My eyes stung with tears. I might not be the heir I once was, but I was raised with dignity. Even if I was bratty, I had a gentleman's pride buried in my bones. He always treated me like this, regardless of the setting, as if I were just a pretty little trinket he owned, unworthy of respect. My self-esteem, already fragile, crumbled. The stench of liquor on his breath made me gag, and the tears finally spilled over. Seeing me struggle so violently, Jordan finally dumped me onto the plush sofa. He frowned, looking genuinely confused by my distress. "What is it now?" he asked, his voice rough. He was never one for gentle refinement. He knew I looked down on him, and he was suppressing his own temper. "What is wrong with a hug and a kiss? You are my beta. We have been together for years. Haven't I taken good care of you? Haven't I served you hand and foot?" Jordan felt aggrieved. He didn't understand that sometimes I was just stubborn. I wouldn't say what was wrong. I wanted him to figure it out. So, after accumulating months of unspoken grievances, I exploded. "The smell of alcohol on you is disgusting," I yelled, standing up, my face draining of color. "When have I ever denied you affection? But when you smell like a distillery, do you really expect me to kiss you? How can I?" I had to admit, he was handsome. He was tall, powerful, and possessed the kind of rugged good looks that would make him a top-tier celebrity. But I was a young master at heart. I used to be delicate. Now I was just pretentious. So what if I disliked his smell? Letting him kiss me was a privilege. Why should I endure a mouth full of tobacco and whiskey fumes? Jordan had indeed drunk too much, and his inhibitions were lowered. Honestly, if I weren't his beta, his delicate, rule-obsessed little prince, he would have tied me to the bed and had his way with me long ago. Jordan was a street rat who had earned his first bucket of gold fighting in underground boxing rings. He started with dirty business because the lower city was chaotic, and while the money he made through speculation wasn't exactly clean, it was the only way to survive. He looked intimidating, but he was only a year or two older than me. However, his eyes held a lifetime of dark experience. He was shrewd and deep, but at his core, he was a bastard. A tailored suit couldn't hide the wild animal beneath. Seeing my red eyes and stubborn, tear-stained face, his brow furrowed. He sighed, forced to lower his posture to coax me. Don't cry. Just tell me properly. When have I ever not listened to you? I am not crying. I insisted, though the moment he spoke softly, my eyes grew hotter. My vision blurred, but I glared at him through the tears. I have told you so many times, but you just don't remember. Last time, you came straight from the gym, all sweaty and gross. You enjoyed yourself, sure, but I told you it was unhygienic. Jordan's face shifted, a flicker of guilt crossing his features. I didn't. He stopped, realizing he couldn't win this argument. I felt like I was talking to a wall. I turned around, wiped my tears aggressively, and started marching up the stairs. I can't communicate with you. Jordan stumbled slightly as he hurried to follow me. Babe, wait. You allowed it at the time. I pressed my lips together, refusing to speak. He paused, thinking hard, then suddenly blurted out, I'm sorry, wifey. I was wrong. Later, after I had showered and lay in bed, covered by the duvet and facing away from him, Jordan walked over. He sat on the edge of the bed, peering at my swollen eyes. He lowered his head and asked, Are you still angry? I just feel terrible inside. I whispered, my voice thick. The more I thought about it, the wetter my eyes became. Then, I asked the question that had been haunting me, a weapon I used whenever I felt powerless. When will you let me go? Jordan's fingers twitched. He wanted a cigarette. God, I really want to smoke, he muttered, looking at me with an intensity that suggested he wanted to do something else entirely. I sat up instantly, bristling. What did you say? Jordan's expression didn't change. I said I want to smoke. Fine. He was a coward in the bedroom. He accepted it. I crossed my arms, my nose and eyes red, tears clinging to my lashes, looking every bit the defiant martyr. Jordan's Adam's apple bobbed. He leaned in close, his voice dropping to a soothing rumble. Where would you go without me? Do you think anyone else would let you hit and scold them like I do? I have proposed to you a dozen times, and you don't show me a shred of pity. I puffed out my cheeks. I do not hit you. Jordan's eyes darkened with affection. He pecked my lips, once, twice. He cupped the back of my head and pulled me into his embrace. I hated myself sometimes. My body always betrayed me, welcoming his touch. Unconsciously, my arms wound around his broad shoulders. And of course, Jordan took that as permission to be aggressive. Afterward, I would regret giving him a kind face. So what if I was destitute? He was the one who insisted on keeping me. I never begged him. My mind drifted back to the beginning. Back then, he was just a desperado in the lower city. He used his last savings to buy me at an auction and took me home. The lower city was the slum of slums, a place of chaos where criminals and the desperate converged. Even though I was a beta, I was fair-skinned and beautiful, a delicacy in such a sinful place. When a vicious alpha like him bought me, I knew exactly what it meant. Just because he looked vaguely human didn't mean I would submit. But I had been starved for 2 days. With one hand, he pinned me down so I couldn't move. I struggled for minutes before collapsing into his damp, moldy bedding, crying my heart out, screaming out the pain and fear I had bottled up. Eventually, he grew tired of the noise and tied my mouth with a bandage. When he finally untied me, I ripped the filthy fabric away, spitting furiously. Pah! Disgusting! I screamed. I glared at him, wary and terrified. Jordan looked much younger then, unkempt, with fresh cuts on his face. He looked rough, depressed, and incredibly fierce. And poor. I was grateful he bought me, saving me from worse fates, but being in his hovel terrified me. I felt like a useless beta. Jordan lifted his eyelids and glanced at me coldly. He stood up, walked to the bed, and swept a pile of clothes onto the floor. You sleep here tonight, he commanded. I clutched my backpack, which contained the only things I had left, a few photos and a plush pendant. I lowered my head, ignoring him. Jordan went out to wash up. Only then did I realize this broken place didn't even have a bathroom inside. It was communal. As soon as he left, I scrambled off the bed to try the door. It was locked from the outside. Moments later, the man returned. He slammed the door shut, threw himself onto the bed, and turned off the light. His voice was lazy and indifferent in the dark. Sleep or don't sleep. I don't care. I wanted to die. I sat in the darkness for a while, listening to screams from the street and the cursing of people walking by. I had never heard such filth. Trembling, I called out to the person beside me. Hey, No answer. Terrified, I reached out to touch him. Hey! My wrist was instantly seized in a vice-like grip. In the dark, Jordan's eyes snapped open. Jordan, he growled. I jumped, startled by his grip, but strangely comforted by the warmth of his hand. What? My name is Jordan. Jordan Banks, he said, sounding annoyed. What do you want? I want to wash, I whispered. A shower. Tisk. Jordan sounded impatient. If I knew you were this much trouble, I wouldn't have bought you. He was fighting in the underground arena when an acquaintance tipped him off about a little beta who looked like an omega. My eyes were clean and bright, though red from crying. I looked fierce, baring my teeth at anyone who came near, like a fallen young master. He had a lapse in judgment, felt bored, and threw his commission money at the auctioneer. He carried me home and immediately felt like he had adopted a problematic ancestor. Jordan rolled out of bed with a groan. Get up. Hearing him move, I let out a breath of relief. I was scared of him, but I was more scared that he would regret the purchase and throw me out. I knew myself. I couldn't survive here alone. But when I saw the communal bathroom, stained with yellow grime and smelling of decay, I clung to Jordan like a koala and refused to let go. Eventually, there was no choice. I barely managed to use the bathroom by standing on Jordan's shoes while he ran the water. He was tall, and my back was pressed against his chest. He held my waist to steady me. I bit my lip, dying of shame. The alpha looked down, noticing my face was burning red. He scoffed. What are you squeaking about? What is your name? I couldn't read the room at all. I snapped back. None of your business. If you don't tell me, I'm letting go, Jordan threatened. I gasped and grabbed his arm tighter. Jeremy. Jeremy. Thorne. The alpha seemed to chew on the name. Jeremy. Sounds like a girl's name. My parents had treated me like a jewel. I thought the name was perfect. Thinking of them, my throat tightened. I swallowed hard to stop the tears. Back in the room, the alpha fetched water for me to sponge bathe inside. He washed the basin several times before filling it. Thankfully, there was a new towel. Jordan was already annoyed, and my demands made him crankier. Where did this pampered prince come from? He muttered. We are in a hellhole, and he wants this and that. Zero survival instincts. Jordan kicked a bucket in frustration. A burly drunk man passing by the open door jumped and started to yell. What are you looking at? I'll gouge your. Jordan glared at him with murderous intent. Get lost. Recognizing the famous desperado, the drunk man sobered up instantly and scurried away without a word. Jordan looked back at me, his eyes cold, and handed me the warm water. I watched him, my heart pounding. The water. Is it clean? I asked, touching it. It's cold. Jordan's face went through several shades of anger, but he stared into my wet eyes and held back his rage. He was a sucker for beauty, and I was, admittedly, the best-looking thing he had ever seen. He gritted his teeth. This is the condition here. Wash or don't wash. I sniffled, but decided to wipe off the sweat while the water was still tepid. At first, I guarded against him peeking, but eventually, I just took off my t-shirt and scrubbed quickly. When I was taking off my pants, I glanced over and saw the alpha staring right at me. His gaze was naked and direct. When our eyes met, he raised an eyebrow. Can you not look at me? I whispered. No, Jordan replied coldly. You're white. Too pale. I couldn't stay frozen like that. I bit my lip, took off my trousers, wiped a tear, and finished quickly. I stared at my dirty clothes on the stool. Hey, do you have clean clothes? Jordan looked fierce again. He dug through a pile of clothes on the bed, found a t-shirt that looked relatively clean, sniffed it, and threw it at me. The action made my eyes sting again. What a filthy alpha. But I had no choice. I sniffed it. No weird smell. I put it on. It was huge, covering my backside completely. I looked at the water in the basin. It had turned black. My face flushed like a boiled shrimp. Jordan saw it too. He didn't think much of it, but seeing me try to block his view, he realized I was embarrassed. My bathwater was too dirty for him, he thought with amusement. I thought he thought I was gross. I haven't showered in 2 days, I explained quickly. I was locked up. My mood plummeted. HN. Jordan grunted, lying back down. Dump the water tomorrow. I'm sleeping. He had fought today. His body was covered in bruises. He wasn't made of iron. He was tired. I fumbled my way into bed, clinging to the very edge. My family was gone, and I was in this hell, totally useless. I started to cry softly. Jordan opened his eyes, listening to the rustling sobs. Suddenly, he reached out, hooked my waist, and dragged me into his arms. The hard, warm contact made me yelp, trembling with fear. Are you going to do something to me? Not tonight, Jordan mumbled sleepily. Shut up and sleep. I'm exhausted. That means he will do something later. I wanted to die again. I tried to stay awake, but sleep overtook me. Jordan opened his eyes in the dark, listening to my breathing. He was annoyed. In a moment of impulse, he had bought himself a massive burden. But the reality hadn't fully hit him yet. It hit him when I got a rash from his t-shirt. When I refused to poop in the communal toilet. When I couldn't eat the canned slum food. When I got sick from the tap water and cried for my mommy and daddy while burning with a fever. When I tried to run away and almost got snatched, forcing him to save me again. The alpha finally realized my disdain wasn't an act. I genuinely couldn't survive here. He had to buy cotton clothes. He had to rent a place with a private bathroom. He had to buy expensive nutrient supplements and bottled water. He had to coax me when I cried. Damn, he is hard to raise, Jordan thought. We moved several times, inching closer to the upper city. My lifestyle became comparable to a middle-class family in the upper city. Jordan often came home covered in blood. At first, I just frowned. Later, I learned to bandage him. One night, while changing his dressing, I asked unhappily, "Aren't you supposed to be strong? Why do you keep getting hurt?" Jordan laughed. "I am human, not metal. Getting hurt is normal. Why are you crying, Jeremy?" "I am not crying," I roared, stepping on his foot. He wiped a tear from my cheek and sucked it into his mouth. Rose flavor. I exploded. "I don't have pheromones. I am a beta." Jordan laughed so hard his wound reopened. I covered his mouth. "Stop laughing." He licked my palm. "This one tastes like fresh snow." I snatched my hand back, furious. "I am a beta. No pheromones. And that is disgusting." I wiped my palm on my shirt. "Disgusting." Jordan grinned. "You use my bathwater. It's very faint," he said softly. "My pheromones." I paused. Asterisk fresh snow? Is it cold? Asterisk I couldn't smell it. I only remembered smelling real snow once. I glared at him. "Do you need money? Should I get a job?" I whispered. "I'm not worried about you. I'm just worried if you die, no one will feed me." Jordan frowned. "What job can you get here? Don't make trouble for me. You're soft and naive. Someone would eat you alive." I'll buy fewer clothes. Eat less. "Stop fighting," I said. Jordan looked at me, stunned. Even without me, he would be fighting. That was life here. "I want to smoke," he deflected. 3 puffs, I negotiated. "You're hurt." He lit it, watching me. "Does your heart ache for me?" Before I could deny it, the shirtless, muscular alpha grinned. "Let me bite you. My teeth itch. I want to mark you." I froze. His face was flushed. It was his rut. I didn't understand alphas well, but I knew ruts were dangerous. I'm a beta. I don't have a gland. Marking doesn't work." Jordan pulled me onto his lap, crushing his cigarette into a tin on the table. A table I had covered with a lace cloth and a vase of flowers, the only beauty in this room. He buried his face in my neck. "We'll see." His canine teeth grazed the skin where a gland would be on an omega. I was panicked. "I am not an omega. You will never mark me. One day you might meet your fated pair." "We'll see when that happens," he muttered, feverish and lost in instinct. Then, pain shot through my neck. That answer, asterisk we'll see asterisk, stuck with me. It made me feel like a placeholder. If I were dating him, I'd give him a 0-star review. Jordan was messy. After intimacy, he would wipe himself off and go get water for me. I watched his hulking back and thought, I'm going to get eye strain from all that muscle. He would return, pull me out of the blankets, and say, "You need to exercise. You have no stamina. You bastard." I cried. "I'm not doing this with you anymore. I'm clumsy with words," he'd say, turning into a simp instantly. "I'm sorry. I'll be your grandson if you let me." My face burned. "You have no idea how big you are. It's a miracle I'm alive." Jordan laughed internally. "My little master is so polite even when he curses. Yes, yes." I held back though. "Shut up now." He covered my mouth and bit my fingertips gently. "Your mouth is dirty. We just swapped spit." I complained. "Jeremy, let me wipe you. Can you be hygienic? Last time you got in bed without showering. And stop swearing in bed." Jordan looked at my angry, puffed-up face. So many rules, fine. Remind me, and I won't swear. I pushed him away and lay on the far side. I am not a young master anymore. Jordan stared at my back, then turned off the light. The darkness brought the scary sounds of the slum back. He reached out and touched my wet face. Babe, I'm here. I miss my parents, I sobbed. I'm useless. Jordan kissed my ear. No. You are my little master. You don't need to do anything. I'll do it. He was an orphan who grew up with violence. He didn't care about living or dying until he met me. He realized money was heavy and life was precious. He stopped taking suicide missions. He nursed me through fevers. He realized he couldn't die because I was too hard to raise. Asterisk, he needs cotton. He needs a toilet. He needs mineral water. Damn it. Asterisk, he saved, schemed, and bought 2 residency permits for the upper city. We took a ferry and left the hellhole behind. In a few years, he became a mogul. He crushed the Shin family, who had bankrupted my parents. But I felt useless. I couldn't help him. I just spent money. The house grew bigger, the staff more numerous. Former friends reconnected, mocking me behind my back for being a kept man of a thug. Then came Lucas, an Omega, a corporate elite. He sat across from me in a cafe. Master Jeremy, I hear you live with Mr. Thanks. What of it? I asked. I have a 90% compatibility match with him. We are fated pairs. Lucas smiled confidently. I need his mark. He needs mine. You are a beta. You cannot be marked. You are holding him back. In this era, Omegas are independent. How long can you rely on him? The house is in my name, I said flatly. And being a beta means I don't suffer from heat. Compatibility doesn't mean he owes you a dime. I walked away with my head high, but inside, I was crumbling. I waited for Jordan at home. He came back drunk, rough, and grabbed me in front of the servants. That was the last straw. The accumulation of insecurity, the "we'll see" comment from years ago, and Lucas's words broke me. I want to break up, I told him. He was silent for a long time. Okay. I'm moving out. Fine. I was shocked he agreed. I moved into a rented apartment. I put up my parents' photos. I felt lonely. My assistant called, a capable beta woman Jordan had hired for me. Did you move out, sir? How do you know? Mr. Banks's assistant told me to watch your mood. I'm fine. We broke up. That night, the shower went cold. The lights died. Darkness swallowed the apartment. Then, footsteps in the living room. Panic seized me. I grabbed my phone and dialed Jordan. Jordan, the power is out, and someone is in the apartment. Help. Don't be afraid, babe. His voice came from the phone and the living room door. It's me. I'm here to fix it. I opened the bathroom door, wrapped in nothing, and was immediately pulled into a hard, hot embrace. You scared me to death. You bastard. I wanted to scare you a little, he admitted, kissing my neck. But I couldn't wait. We are broken up. I yelled. But babe, he chuckled darkly, pressing me against the table, his hand covering my lower abdomen. With my seed inside you. Just where exactly do you think you are going? My brain short-circuited. What? My seed? Here. He patted my stomach. Impossible. I'm a beta. I tested you. While you were sleeping. You're pregnant. You are a pervert. Wifey. He signaled for the lights to come back on. He wrapped me in a blanket. Let's get married. You just want the baby. I dealt with that idiot Lucas, Jordan said, ignoring my protest. Scared him off. I didn't hit him much. You hit him. Just a little. Look, Jeremy. Why do you believe strangers, but not me? You say you are useless? You are born to enjoy life. You are kind. You are cute. I love you. I have thick skin. You can hit me all you want. You are the most precious thing in the world. I leaned against his shoulder, my resistance melting. I'm just afraid I'm not good enough. I'm the one who isn't good enough, Jordan whispered. I'm a thug. I see you, and I just want to devour you. I've been obsessed since the first time I saw you. Please, marry me. You're not lying about the baby? Would I dare? We held a small, luxurious wedding. I finally accepted that loving Jordan was natural. I was still fierce, still had rules, but he loved it. Months later, heavily pregnant, I craved his pheromones. He once drove 5 hours from a business trip just because I was sad. Now, Jordan is a changed man. He leaves meetings early. Sorry, gentlemen. I have to go home to feed the kid. If you don't like it, deal is off. My wife worries if I'm late. He comes home, tossing his jacket to the maid, and kisses my cheek while I teach our 2-year-old son piano. Wifey, I want to learn too. Our son looks up, beaming. Daddy. Hey son. I shake my head, laughing. Jordan taught him to say daddy, like a gangster. But looking at them, I realize I am exactly where I belong. Not a fallen prince, but a king in my own home.